Hello everybody, it is me, Pacific. Today we're going to talk about something very interesting. We're going to talk about the underground guerrilla warfare tactics that cyberbullies are now using. This isn't new, this has been going on for some time. They're trying to shame me into silence, they're trying to cause fear, and I have already talked to several people, including people involved that were named by name, addresses given, in a docs attached to Encyclopedia Dramatica, headed up by Loremaster. And I have called several times. In fact, I spent most of my time calling everybody and saying, be aware that the following has happened. I'm going to make a statement. And the first thing I'm going to say that as an American, that Pacific is not going to be muzzled by guerrilla warfare tactics. My address has been posted. The phone number of this house has been posted. There have been references to names of my family. They have been tipped off. There are other people that have been notified, one of them being the Lakewood Police Department. And I talked with an officer at length yesterday about this stuff. He told me what my rights are. He told me that this group is a hate group, and they have looked at the site. And let me make it very clear that the docs that was made basically said that if I want to step up my game, that I will get clucked. Then underneath that, there was a disclaimer saying this is purely satirical. After talking to legal advice yesterday, they said that doesn't wash in a court of law. If any damage happens to you, the people you live with, phone numbers called, numbers can be traced even if you block the call. Letters, stuff like that, can be fingerprinted. Lakewood Police said any crime that happens against you here can be dealt with, even if it's done via online. Police said they have no domain over the internet itself, but once something is done to an individual, they can definitely start tracking stuff down through IP servers and stuff like that. Excuse me. Number one, the person who wrote this docs, and we have a pretty good idea who it is. Number one, this person is being hit right between the eyes with truth and doesn't like it. But instead of having a video face-off with his house address and phone number in the background, he says this was written by a real man. No, it was not. The officer laughed on that note. Real men face their opponents and sit down and talk. But what we have here is 20-something-year-old adults doing what is akin to vandals, waiting for darkness to fall, and then doing their little nefarious deeds. Number one, Pacific follows God. You're not my God. Number two, it's not about me being tough guy. It's not about me stepping up my game. By the same token, let me make it clear to my viewers that I will not be silenced by bullying and guerrilla warfare tactics. Posting people's personal information is chicken. It's easy for you to do that. Why don't you post the information about yourself, complete with addresses, value of house, stuff like that? I did talk to the gentleman last night of this house, informed him what happened, and he said, yep, it's probably kids, 20-something-year-olds. I said, pretty much. I said, I just want you to know that this stuff is getting ridiculous and that these people will stop at nothing. Here's the deal. If Pacific backs up in silence, they'll still do something. If I confront them, they'll do something. So Pacific says, you know what? Let's just one day at a time. But know this. The authorities have been alerted. I'm not going to make threats, but you are. With your little swastikas behind everything that you've added, you guys are putting yourselves out there. And many people have reason to believe this is a neo-Nazi skinhead group, which has been the target of many news events. And I am tempted to involve the news people and see if they'll be more than willing to run a story on how ridiculous the trolls are getting. Number one, let me make a statement that when I talk about things online, that Pacific has never threatened anybody, that Pacific would never encourage violence or vigilante justice against anybody. Yes, there are people I don't like, and I pray that God will deal with them in His time. Number two, that my views that are expressed here are not views of hate, but views of things that I believe from my heart, views of where I stand on convictions, views about myself, being honest and transparent, that that in no way does anything I say is it intended to cause other people to be fearful of their property, fearful of damage to others. And let me say something very clear. People operating this way are not mature, grown-up adults. This is trolling. This is cyberbullying. This is the kind of stuff that makes news. This is the kind of stuff that, with unstable, immature minds, people will react and do things. Pacific could sit here and worry about all the possible scenarios, and I thought I have done nothing wrong to anybody. I have been exercising my free right as an American to speak the truth. I have been exercising my free right to say the things I need to say. These people are putting names, addresses, phone numbers, but hiding. It is not a man, it is not the definition of a man to encourage an environment of hostilities and revenge and possible trouble to me while hiding. That whoever made this site, be it Loremaster or his cronies, or anybody not coming forward, taking admission of it, is ridiculous. There's nothing different about that and the Muslim terrorists that put backpacks on their back and walk into a bus and blow up everything. It is no different than terrorist attacks where somebody's hiding and nobody knows who does it, and then somewhere along the line somebody says Hamas claimed responsibility. These people don't want to be found. They don't want their addresses out here, and there's a reason for that. They know that they're crossing the line. They know that what they're doing is wrong, and they know up here that what they're doing is totally out of line. That their intent has been stated. That the fingerprints of the individual who's written me the 2 emails, that the fingerprints of the docs put together, the fingerprints of the ED page, and all those are the same. All you have to do is read the comments that were made. Loremaster complains on his videos about dying and being alone, and he accuses me, relationship status, dying alone. There's too many tandems that give away who the person is. If it is not Loremaster, then why has he not come out and made a video saying, I did not do this? Because I'm sure that the original Loremaster is well aware of the things I'm saying on my video. He is not that ignorant, and he has not issued any retractions or any saying, hey, I did not do this. Number 2, blaming other people, as the email did the other day. We know the general person behind all this. He has declared war on me. He is resulting to guerrilla warfare tactics. You will not get his address. You will not get his phone number because he lives in fear. He is encouraging, through this medium, to hope to get a bunch of silly people out there to cause trouble. And I don't understand that. That even when I was in school, if somebody had an issue with me, they said, come on, let's go. And that's not even necessary. That if this person has such an issue, why don't they sit down and talk to me face to face? Why don't they get on Skype and talk to me face to face and say, what is your problem? What is your problem? Because you have clearly stated that you will not stop until I remove my channel. I'm sorry, but I'm an American. This is censorship. This is bullying tactics, and I'm not going to submit to that. If you want to keep pushing forward and harassing, you will eventually get caught. You will eventually expose yourself. The bottom line is, you're the one that's getting very close to getting yourself into legal trouble. No, not lawsuits, but where they will trace you to your server and come in with FBI agents, surround your house, seize your computer, and take you away. You're promoting hate, you're promoting racism, and now you're promoting violence and destruction against myself as an individual, simply for espousing my viewpoints. One moment. And I'm sorry, but I do not work for Bellio Trucking. I am familiar with it. I've heard of it. I have never applied. I do not work there. Other people that were mentioned as their places of employment, some of the information was actually false. Some things in that were true. Some things were not. Number one, it is clearly somebody's intent saying that this is satirical and whatever happens, this person is not responsible. The officer laughed and says, oh, if anything happens as a result of them posting personal information, yes, they can definitely be had. He said it is cyberbullying. He said that they cannot hide behind that. That doesn't just automatically wash whatever happens. Anytime people put up stuff that is designed to harass, and especially stuff of this nature, and there is no surprise that information may be gotten simply through voter registration, voter ID search, because when you register to vote, there's a little thing that says that some of your voter information may be shared publicly. Most people sign it off, and Pacific is not going to bow in fear because now somebody's posted residences, addresses, phone numbers, not mine, mind you, but other people's, and I have informed them, be aware. When Pacific talks about the things going on in America, this is further proof that America does not have the right mind. This is motivated by people who hate the fact I dated a black woman. This is motivated because I had said some things about MGTOW. And let me remind the MGTOW people that in the beginning I did not attack them at all. Excuse me. I agreed with their right to have their group. As I got to understand things better, I disagreed with not with some of their philosophies, but it was not a mean, malicious attack. The attack started on the Minor people that is now being claimed that that was Lore Master. One of us, most of us will never know. The fact is, haters are haters. And they continue to focus on my channel instead of going away and finding something to do. Because they're selfish, they're self-centered, and they don't care if damage befalls me. When I talk about the issues in America, this is case in point. These people don't care about me. They don't care about anybody. They don't care if damage happens. They don't care if revenge happens. And they coolly say in the docs, we're not responsible for anything. In a court of law, that doesn't add up. Pacific has not challenged you guys at all. You're challenging me. This is my right. You're the ones promoting hate, not me. You're the ones promoting racism, not me. Now you're the ones promoting damage to me in various forms. I'm not going to tell you all of the people I called. But suffice it to say that I have called people that you have specifically referenced. Yes, even those I don't particularly get along with. And I have informed them, be aware. The general prevailing comment is, these cyberbullies are nuts. No, this was not written by a man. This is written by somebody who's in hiding. That if you have nothing to be afraid of, then you come out and say, my name is so-and-so, I live at this address, and I have issue with Pacific. And it doesn't even need to come to that. There is nothing I have done that has made somebody so ridiculously out of control that they would imply threats against me. This is childish, immature behavior of people who have way too much time on their hands. I'm thankful I have a job. I've also warned my employers both in voicemails and phone calls that expect people to cause trouble because I have a YouTube channel. I talk about controversial things. I talk about people and don't mention names. But here's the deal. Yes. I am not going to sit here and say this stuff doesn't bother me. It does. It does because it's cowardly. It's wrong. You won't post your address, and you know why you won't. Because the minute you do, I could contact the authorities in your area and say, this person is doing this stuff from their computer, and it would be over. Fact. Because the laws and jurisdictions in your state can say you are promoting an atmosphere of danger, And that is what the officer told me here, that if you feel threatened, if people are encouraging attacks and revenge, remember, servers can be traced. And everything that you print originates from somewhere. This is ridiculous, guys. I've asked you to stop. I've asked you to take your pages down. You're the ones stepping up your game, not me. You're the ones making veiled threats, not me. You're the one that is causing trouble. This is not the land of the free and home of the brave. This is land of the chickens and home of guerrilla warfare tactics on the internet. I've read several articles about bullying. That doesn't seem to register with any of you. You keep stepping it up and getting real close to the line over and over again. A man does not do that to another man. A man doesn't play these hide-and-seek games. Your intentions are nothing but evil. Your little swastikas tell me that you're definitely anti-Jewish, that you're racist to the core, and you don't like my views. And for somebody who claims to be so more well-adjusted than me and point at all of my problems, you're showing signs of complete disturbing behavior, and that you fixate like a Jeffrey Dahmer over and over again, plotting, coming up with ways to get revenge, fomenting hate. Honestly, my channel isn't worth that. If you don't like my views, don't listen to me. It's that simple. Don't tune in. But you keep drawing attention to yourselves over and over and over, and one day it's going to result in you getting attention from the authorities. Not me, but the authorities. You are cowards. You go to sleep at night hiding, knowing nobody knows where you live, while blasting out other people's addresses. That's not an American male. That's a coward. That is guerrilla warfare tactics. And you're disgusting. I'm not the one stepping up my game, and you say I'm going to get clucked. That's a threat. Your disclaimer of satire doesn't work that way. It is not satire when you publish true information, addresses, phone numbers, stuff like that. That's not wise. But you guys are playing a diabolical game, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm speaking truth. Because I'm saying things you don't want to hear. You are uncomfortable with the content of my channel. Instead of telling me why you're uncomfortable or why you disagree and being mature men about it and being intellectual, you're encouraging vandalism. You're encouraging vengeance, danger to people. That's not a man. Let me make it very clear that I'm not the one poking you guys. You guys are poking me over and over and over. I'm not going to be bullied into silence. I'm not going to shut down my channel just because you hate me. In America, I'm a free man. I don't think I'm the tough guy, but apparently you guys do. And the tactics you're using are not tough guy tactics. They're chicken and cowardly. Why don't you publish your address and phone numbers and names of your parents? You won't do it. You know that if your parents knew, you know that if we had an address and we could contact the police and say, this guy is doing this from his computer, you know that there's possible repercussions and trouble through the means of the law. I'll be very honest. I wish I had the means to stop all of this. I don't. And you know that. But I am going to tell you something, and I'm going to leave you with this. God knows what you're doing, and it doesn't matter what you think of me. It doesn't matter if you think I'm hypocritical. It doesn't matter if you think that I have a problem with lust or this or that. It doesn't matter. What you're doing does not honor God. Threatening people's lives, making veiled threats, encouraging bad behavior, and then turning around saying you're not responsible, get back to me after God, you stand before him on Judgment Day. I promise you, you'll be wrong. You don't believe in God? Well, get back to me when you die and tell me if you were right. The bottom line is, I'm going to say it again, your fixation with my channel, your continued unrelentless attacks, getting deeper into crossing lines of law and doing what you're doing is not even fair play. Hiding in your little cellars or basements or wherever you live, calling out your old girlfriend and saying that she lives on assistance and lives in a welfare project, saying she's mentally making fun of her handicap status. These are not men. This is what a lot of American men have turned into, young, unemployed, sitting on the internet thinking they're tough guys and doing cyberbullying. And instead of taking this stuff to heart and going, you know, he's right. That I'm not the one meaning harm against you, but you clearly are, which shows you are narcissistic, selfish, and Machiavellian. There's something wrong with you guys. I've asked you to stop over and over, and you keep on going. You're the one making threats now. And I'm not buffaloing you. I have contacted various people mentioned in the docs. This is not Nazi Germany. You guys are not the SS. And if you guys want to carry out styles and tactics like they do, it'll catch you in the end. You've already put your fingerprint all over it. The people writing all these emails can cancel emails and shut down accounts, but they all come from the servers. I have copies of these things. Every time you do anything on the internet, you leave a fingerprint. When stuff happens to me, all I have to do is say, start right here. That's not brave. That's not manly. You have just revealed how deeply you have a problem. That you believe in the freedom of speech to do whatever the hell you please, yet want to deny it for others. I'm going to tell you something. You're wrong. I have freedom of speech, and that's not granted to me by you. It's granted to me by God and our Constitution. The stuff that is going on by you guys is totally un-American. The real soldiers in the military would never encourage the kind of stuff you're doing. This isn't men. This is childish people that haven't learned to grow up. You have no shame. You have no conscience, and you have no conviction. You've shown yourself to be haters. You've shown yourself to have bad intentions. Your intentions are not to correct me, to win me over to your view. Your intentions aren't to sit down and say, hey, we disagree with you about this. Your intentions are nothing but harm and destruction towards me. I know you don't care. I know you're proud of yourselves. But please don't call yourself a man. People writing me, not posting their last names, first names, coming out saying who they are, writing intimidating letters. How stupid is that? Fingerprints all over the place. No. Pacific is not going to run and hide in fear. I have asked for God's protection. And I've talked to the people I need to talk to. The bad thing is most people that know me know that I have never meant malicious ill will towards anybody. I'm human. I get frustrated. But you guys are crossing lines over and over and over. And the fact you guys are stepping it up, threatening, and becoming bolder and bolder tells me that it's all related to the fact you don't like truth. I've told you over and over, learn to deal with it. Take a look at yourself. You can't. You're headed for jail eventually. You've got all the signs of a sociopath, fixation on somebody who has never, ever, ever done anything to bring harm in your direction. That's not a man. You're trying to use censorship and cyberbullying. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I have fans who care. I have fans who are active. This is Pacific signing off. Bye-bye.